Our games are mainly CPU bound. That means the processor is kind of the bottleneck of the performance. Obviously now with the introduction of new platforms, which benefit greatly from having better CPU optimizations, we are working very hard on the architecture of the engine, untangling old code, basically bringing our engine up to modern standards.
Looking back, we started with a codebase many years ago that simply wasn't designed to run across multiple processors at the same time. So achieving any real parallelism in it was basically impossible. We were facing two possible routes: either completely rewrite everything from scratch, or try to move forward through smaller, incremental changes that would keep the game alive and operational, so it could continue running for end users. This is one of the main reasons why it's taking us so long. There's an enormous amount of code and changes involved. Rewriting all of it is truly a superhuman task. We have the gameplay layer, where things are being untangled because the game itself still operates as a single block. And then there's the rendering layer, where we need to process a massive amount of data for the main view, mirrors, and so on. A huge part of the work there was about being able to gather all that data, and once we have that massive data set, we can at least start thinking about processing it in parallel. Right now, what we still need to finish and push forward is the rendering, because although we've made progress over the past few years, it's not very noticeable visually. Most of the gains so far have been in efficiency, how we handle graphics, how we process data, and how effectively we can program the GPU. But the best is still ahead of us. We're working on a solution that can operate within a fairly small memory budget. Depending on how much free memory we have, we'll only load the levels of detail that fit. So these kinds of optimizations are ongoing. Going back many years, our game was written so that whenever it needed a file, it would just request it and wait for it to load. Back then, a little stutter was acceptable, but today everyone is extremely sensitive to it. So we had to rewrite these systems across the entire game. Today we work with massive queues and lists of resources needed to be loaded. Previously, we had to manually fetch each texture. Nowadays, we immediately have a proxy representation of that texture available. We can instantly supply a texture that roughly represents the final one, while the mid-map details stream into memory gradually. Every frame, we check how textures are laid out in memory. We can reorganize memory by moving blocks into free spaces, creating a contiguous region that we can then use for loading additional resources. Without this approach, we'd hit a situation where 75% of memory was technically in use, but we couldn't lock in a new texture. So our defragmentation system now compacts the memory, creating new blocks we can use.